Sup, bitches? Welcome back to the morgue.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I might actually use that. I don't know.
Do it.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the morgue. My name is Mal.
My name's Hannah.
And welcome back, everyone. How are you doing, Hannah?
I am good. I'm so pumped for this episode.
Dude, I am so pumped. I always say that for like all the episodes, but this one I am like 5 million times more pumped.
I can see why this one's your favorite, because so far it's my favorite, and just the first 10 minutes that we just watched of Resurrection, it made me want to die.
Yes.
So yes, this is my favorite.
Whenever I got to Hannah's apartment, she was finishing H20, which is what we're going to be covering today, and I told her, of course, that Resurrection's after this, and she's like, how can he still be alive? And I was like, dude, just like watch the first 10 minutes of Resurrection.
Crazy.
Y'all, first of all,
Stupid.
I'm just going to say it now, Resurrection is unnecessary. There's no reason for it. But we're going to be talking about that next week, so like, y'all just wait for then, okay? But like I said, this week we're going to be talking about Halloween H20, 20 years later, from 1998. But before we begin, I just want to remind everyone about the subscriptions.
Go subscribe.
Go subscribe. Those are going to be available on Patreon as well as Spotify.
$4.
Yes.
$4.
$3.99. And that's going to be for one extra episode a week, equal to 4 episodes a month. And I mean, I'm just saying, go fucking subscribe, dude.
It's $1 an episode.
That's literally $1 an episode. That is so cheap. Like, come on. And it's going to be totally worth it as well. We're going to be doing all types of different movies. We're going to be doing some true crime. There's going to be times where we just have all different types of topics, and it's going to be just craziness. And so,
You don't want to miss
you
out.
don't want to miss that. Subscribe. And so, starting out, Halloween H20 is a 1998 horror movie written by Robert Zappia. I think is how you pronounce his last name. Zappia, whatever the hell. And Matt Greenberg. Kudos to both of them. And H20, it was pitched as many different stories, including a complete like conspiracy timeline a la The Wicker Man. And it was actually called Michael Myers' Lord of the Dead. I hate that.
I hate that so much. I'm glad they did not do that.
Oh, I know, right? And like, you don't even know anything about like the cult timeline. Like for anyone that's seen all of the Halloween movies, you know, 4 through 6 is like the cult timeline. No, just no. Okay. The other timeline would have been a copycat killer, which was compared to like Silence of the Lambs, and that would have been called Halloween 7, Two Faces of Evil, or Halloween Blood Ties. And honestly, I hate the idea of all of those.
Yeah.
I like that they went with this idea.
Yeah, this one was so good. I loved the way it was set up past
Yes.
Halloween 2. Like, it was perfect. I loved the Hillcrest School. It was such like a, you know, like an old-timey, like, boarding school type vibe, and I loved it.
Which I think I mentioned later on in my notes, but that building has been used in a lot of movies. One of them, if you're in my era, my age gap, if you've ever seen that Nickelodeon movie called Clock Stoppers, whenever they can, like, stop motherfucking or slow down time, I should say, that is the same house that, like, the love interest had. So there's that. And also a movie that we have covered. It's the same place that they used for the mansion in Scream 3. Yes, y'all should see the look on Hannah's face right now. Yes, it's the same mansion. So you know the scene whenever Tyson gets thrown off the balcony?
I was about to say that looked like the place where the window was...
Yes, that hallway,
the
it looks
fuck?
familiar. The courtyard, so they actually just covered up the pool just to have it as an actual courtyard, and like you can rent it, I think, for like events and stuff. Obviously they use it in like movies and everything, but yeah, it's the same place.
That is crazy.
Isn't that insane?
As soon as you said that, I thought about the window scene because that's the thing that clicked for me. in the courtyard.
Oh yeah, that courtyard. It's the way that like the coloring of everything is. It's very like southwestern. I would say kind of like that New Mexico sort of look to it. And then it's the stairs. I always notice those stairs that are outside of the courtyard. I don't know what it is about them, but those are some familiar looking stairs.
That's crazy.
Kevin Williamson was initially asked to deliver what every article calls a treatment, situated as a sequel to the previous 6 films, basically making an explanation for Laurie's supposed death in the previous movies and her subsequent resurrection, but while also keeping the 4th, 5th, and 6th movies canon. And see, here's the funny thing. So growing up, I had no idea that these were like completely like different timelines. I always thought that it just went, 1, 2, skip 3, and then 4, 5, 6, H2O, and Resurrection. I did not know until probably I was like 14 or so that it was completely different timelines, because that part whenever she's talking to Will and she's like, yeah, so that girl, they're talking about like the Laurie Strode story or whatever, and she's like, yeah, that girl, she ended up faking her death and going into hiding and everything and changing her name and stuff. And I was like, okay, but that kind of makes sense, because in the 4th one, she dies.
Okay.
Quote unquote. And so it's like, okay, I get that, but I'm like, where did the son come from? I'm confused because she had a daughter in the 4th one. But I guess I just looked past it because I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's so confusing. Like, just, going into Halloween and not knowing about the whole timeline situation.
Plan is to not watch anything past, like, the only ones I'm going to watch, and now I'm not going to watch Resurrection, I don't think.
I'm just saying, okay, Resurrection, yes, it is an absolute shit show, but Busta Rhymes, he makes that shit.
I want to watch it.
He makes that shit. I done already showed her Trick or Treat, motherfucker. Like, by far the best part of the movie, whenever it's the 2 Michaels in there, best parts of the movie, like.
That's the only reason I might watch it, but like the thing is, I'm only gonna watch, Halloween 1, 2, H2O, and then the Blumhouse trilogy, because I feel like watching 3, 4, 5, 6 would confuse the fuck out of me.
So like I said, 3 is not part of the Michael Myers timeline. So if you do want to just pick that up, it's completely separate story. And so that's
I don't like that.
It's a good movie, I'm not gonna lie, if you go into it knowing that there is no Michael Myers, simply because Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, they wanted to have an anthology series at first that had to do. This was even before the second one was made. They were like, we want to do different stories, but then the studio was like, well, we want to bring back Michael. Everyone loves Michael.
Right.
And so they brought him back for the second one. Third one comes around. They're like, okay, we're going to try to dip our toes into this anthology thing.
Or is anyone from the first 2 in that one?
No.
So how is it even related?
It's not. It's anthology. And so, like I said, they wanted it to be an anthology. They were going to continue with different stories past the 3rd one. They were going to say, okay, here's the 3rd one. This one has to do with da-da-da-da-da. Then we'll have a 4th one. It also takes place on Halloween. It has to do with da-da-da-da-da. But...
Okay, so the only common thing was that it would happen
on Halloween.
Okay.
Exactly. If they wouldn't have had the second movie, I feel like it would have worked out better. Because after that, it's like they're constantly going to be expecting Michael Myers in a Halloween movie.
Right, and we're like connected to him and Laurie Strode after the second one.
Exactly. And so, yeah, the 3rd one, like I said, really good movie if you just go into it knowing that there is going to be no Michael.
Yeah.
Like, the story and everything, chef's kiss. And so, Carpenter originally agreed to direct, but there were some stipulations. Like, this man's, which I don't blame him, he demanded a starting fee of $10 million for directing, with a 3-picture deal with Dimension Films. And this deal was denied by the nasty-ass Weinstein brothers, but John Carpenter, I know, right? John Carpenter did rationalize the large fee by saying it was compensation for revenue that he never received from the OG Halloween in 1978. And so the role for directing went to Steve Miner, who also directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3, which I think is really cool. I'm like, imagine you're a director, you're up there directing some Jason movies, and then they're like, hey, you want to come direct a Michael Myers movie? Fuck
Just
yeah!
say you've directed Friday the 13th and Halloween. Like,
exactly.
What?
That, I'd be proud of myself.
I would never shut up.
But back to the $10 million. So I feel like we discussed this off recording, but they did not get like any money from the original movie. Like I think it was the Weinsteins it was under. They like took all of the fucking money from it. I don't actually think it was the Weinsteins now that I think about it. I'm pretty sure it was like Mustafa Akkad and everything. He was the executive producer, but like residuals and stuff, they didn't get shit for it. Jamie Lee Curtis got that, what was it, $7,000, I think, like the flat rate of like $7,000 for it. She hasn't received any type of anything.
That was
for
the only. She got $7,000 for the first
I think
Halloween
it was
movie.
$7,000. Let me actually go back to my.
That was all
notes.
she got for the first Halloween movie.
Let me go to my notes real quick, and
That's
I will pull
insane.
it up. Oh, okay. So in the original one, Donald Pleasance, who played Loomis, he was paid the highest amount at $20,000. Jamie Lee Curtis was paid $8,000. And Nick Castle, the guy that played Michael, was only given $25 a day. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they end up making more after?
So the movie was like, I think it was they made like $173 million from it. They did not get anything extra. They didn't get anything beyond that flat rate, the $25 a day, the $8,000 flat rate, the $20,000 flat rate. They didn't get anything beyond that.
That's bullshit.
It is bullshit, and that just goes to show how the big movie companies just keep taking money, and that's why the actors are on strike right now.
Yeah.
Like, Jamie Lee Curtis has came out multiple times saying, yeah, I only made $8,000 from that movie. Like, it's a over $100 million movie. And, you know, DVD sales, streaming sales, none of that. She has gotten anything from it.
I want to go
And it's just
pay
insane.
her personally.
Right. I'm like, Jamie Lee Curtis, I know you probably don't want my money. I'm like, I know you probably don't want my money. She's a very good woman. Like, I bet you if we were like, Jamie Lee Curtis, here is our whole paycheck. We love you so much. She'd be like, please don't give me your whole paycheck.
Girl, I would do it though.
I would do it too. I'm like, here's my whole year's salary. She put her fucking blood, sweat, and tears into that damn movie.
She put her whole in that
movie. She did. She really did. She put her whole motherfucking taco up in there. For sure. God. And so, Halloween H20 started filming February 18th of 1998, and it ended on April 20th, or 20 blaze it, 1998. H20 stars Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode / Keri Tate. We'll get to it. Josh Hartnett. I was about to say Josh Hutcherson. It's because we were talking about him earlier.
Literally.
Josh Hartnett as John. Adam Arkin as Will. Michelle Williams as Molly. Adam Handbird.
That's who the fuck that was.
You didn't realize it was Michelle Williams?
And I'm like, why the fuck? Like, I know her face.
Who is this?
I fucking know her face. Like, I know it. And I could not place it. Thank you so much.
Yes, Michelle Williams. Adam Handbird.
That's been bothering me all day. Like,
Has it?
The entire shift at work, I was just
like, who is that bitch? You should have just asked me.
I know, you probably would have just told me immediately, but it was just in the back of my mind all day.
Adam Handbird plays Charlie, which, fun fact about Mr. Adam over here, if you've ever seen the original Jumanji with Robin Williams, Adam plays young Alan, and it literally took me 26 whole years of my life to realize that, and I'm pissed off at myself. Then we have Jodie Lynn O'Keefe as Sarah, LL Cool J, my motherfucking boy, as Ronnie, and Chris Durand plays Michael.
I love Ronnie.
Ronnie is by far my favorite character of this movie. Like, he's hilarious. He's hilarious.
Him and Laurie, I love Laurie so much.
Me too.
Laurie and Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Fucking Tanya.
God, we'll get to that, y'all.
God.
Halloween H20 opened on August 5th, 1998 in the U.S. on an estimated $17 million budget. It had an opening weekend box office gross of $16.18 million, almost to that budget point, but it ended up with a gross worldwide of $55.04 million. It has a runtime of 1 hour, 26 minutes, or 86 minutes if you a weirdo. IMDb has it at a score of 5.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 55% tomato meter and 49% audience. And Letterboxd has it at a 2.8 out of 5.
I do not agree with that.
I do not agree.
It's way too good for a 2.8.
It really is. It really is. And the thing about Letterboxd, it's not like any type of critics or anything. It's just regular people. And I'm like,
yeah,
y'all need to get your shit together.
Y'all don't fucking appreciate it.
They really don't.
Because that's my favorite one.
I'm like, seriously, if you just watch the first one, the second one, and then H2O, that is the perfect trilogy.
Those people probably fucking watched and thought that H2O continued after like fucking number 6 and we're like, oh, that's shit like bullshit.
Me. Literally pulled some shit like me. How the hell is she alive? Where's her daughter?
But see, you were young. They're probably like
40-year-olds.
Yes, bro. Get them bitches off of Letterboxd.
And so we open with Mr. Sandman playing Mr. Sandman. Just like in Halloween 2, actually. A woman and some kids are carving a pumpkin, which I have a question about how the fuck this woman was cutting into that pumpkin. She just stabs the pumpkin, starts trying to like cut the top of it open. I'm like, girlfriend, you have all these little ass kids around you,
like, calm down,
and
Michael.
That big ass knife. Exactly. Are you sure you're not Michael Myers, lady?
Literally, calm down.
A woman rolls up to her house, and we're in Langdon, Illinois. It's October 29th, 1998. The woman walks up to her house, and it's my girl, Marion Chambers. She was in the first and second one. She was the fucking smokestack of a woman that was just smoking cigarettes. She got attacked in the first one in the car, and then in the second one, she's the one that told Loomis, "Hey, yo, Michael Myers is Laurie Strode's brother." And so Marion walks up and she sees that her house has been broken into. She goes over to her neighbor's house and runs into Jimmy, which Jimmy is played by young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I used to have the biggest crush on him. I love me some Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And he has his little hockey jersey wearing friend over there, and they call the police for her.
They're so cute.
They're adorable.
They're literally so cute. And when they're like, they're so... It's so perfect for that theme of the movie, like them sneaking beer into their pants and like playing hockey. It's so cute.
And so they call the police, and then the friend asks Marion if anyone ever told her that secondhand smoke kills, and she says,
"Yeah, but they're all dead."
I loved that.
That shit used to make me laugh so hard. I'm like, damn.
Also, this was such
savage.
A good fucking intro.
It really was.
It was so good.
It really was. Like,
and we'll get to it later, but like the flashes of the news articles, I love when movies do that.
Oh, me too. But never pause to read the articles. I have figured that out. If you guys ever are watching a movie and, you know, like they're showing like news articles and stuff on the screen, do not pause to read the articles, because like the first 5 sentences will make sense, but anything after that is like, what the fuck were these people even talking about? But,
really?
But like there are some movies that
I just read like the headlines. Now,
yeah, the headlines are good. Yeah,
I will say, Harry Potter fucking 5. It starts with all the news articles from the last one, and they make sense, but I freaking love when movies do that, and they just flash like the headlines, and it makes everything make sense, and just plus the score playing, like it was just great. I love it.
Beautiful. And so instead of them waiting on the fucking police to come, which pisses me off, they escort Marion back to her house, and Jimmy insists on taking a look around to make sure that the house is empty. He goes in wielding his little hockey stick, and he tries to intimidate the supposed intruder by saying,
"All right, let's not anyone mess with me here.
Jimmy been suspended 5 times this year already for getting a little crazy with the stick, alright?
And he slams the stick down on the ground. And it used to always scare the shit out of me. But at the same time, I was like,
It's so
boy, what
funny.
you doing?
Like, what are you doing?
He looks around, and everything seems pretty straight for the most point, except for Marion's office. After stealing some beers from her fridge and taking a big-ass bite of a Halloween cookie that was sitting on her counter, Jimmy and his friend go back home, and Marion goes inside, and the lights are all out. They won't turn on, so of course, she grabs one of them big-ass flashlights to look around. And we know that she isn't alone because the front door ends up opening by itself, and when she goes to close it, Mikey is standing at the fucking back door, like, hello, motherfucker. And then the back door opens as well. Marion sees that. She senses that something is wrong. She's like, oh, hell no, oh, no. And she books it over to Jimmy's house. And so when she arrives, Jimbo is big dead with the ice skate to the face, which is fucked.
That made me sad.
Oh, that made me so sad. I'm like, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt, my baby. And as she tries to, for some reason, run out the back door, I don't know why she just didn't run back out the front door.
Like, girl, what you
But she runs out the back door, and his friend is standing there, and he's dead with a knife in his back, which I always hate it when a person is standing at a door but they're dead, and then the person opens up the door and they just like slowly fall in.
It so
much. But this one was good. I'm not even gonna lie.
This one was
I don't hate it.
pretty good. I just I hate when they do that because it scares the shit out of me.
And see, it's not that it scares the shit out of me.
Too.
It's not that it scares the shit out of me. It's just like my logical brain going, how the fuck is a person standing but they're dead?
True, I guess their knees would have buckled before.
Exactly.
See, I didn't even think about that. It just scares me.
I could understand if they were in like rigor mortis and like they were, laid out straight and then someone just teeters them upwards, makes them stand.
They always look fucking terrified, and so I'm like, what's happening? And then they just
fall,
and that always scares the shit out of me.
The friend falls into Marion. She's on the ground. And here comes Mikey's bitch ass, smoking his 200s. And he ends up attacking her. And right as the police arrive to her house, she smashes a window to try to get help. But Mikey slashes her in the throat before the police even realize that she's there. Mikey then gets the smart idea to, I guess, steal Jimmy's mom's car. And he just books it the hell out of there. He's like, skirt, let me just roll on out with my lights off. And then once I get down the road, I'll turn them on. And still to this day, I am confusion on how Mikey can drive.
I'm confused because you know that beat up car you were talking about in this scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Jimmy's mom's car. Yes.
That's also the one that pulls up to... Oh, that was Jimmy's mom's car.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just like his car, and I was like, how did I not pick that up like in the other movies?
No, I'm just assuming that's Jimmy's mom's car because... In the second one, we end with him just burning the fuck alive.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, could he have bought a car? But also, okay, I have another question about Mikey driving. So when this man's needs to get out and get gas, does he go in with the mask on? Does he go in without it on? Does he just murder the cashier and just fill up his tank? I need to know. These are really good questions.
My question was, he's driving that car. You remember the part later on with the rest stop?
Mm-hmm.
He leaves, but it's in their car.
Yes.
That they drove up in.
Yes.
So I guess he did kill them?
No. He stole her purse.
Oh, yeah. That's how... Okay. God.
And so in the AM, it's all rainy outside and shit. And the police arrive at Marion's house. They're discussing Michael Myers and how his body was never found in 1978. And one of the detectives are wondering if it could have been him last night. And the other one's like, I don't know. Then we get the opening credits with all of the news clippings that Hannah was talking about. And we get that beautiful introducing Josh Hartnett credit. Oh, it's so cute. I love him so much. And so we fade into a POV of someone walking down a hallway. And this hallway looks really familiar because, like I said, it's the same hallway that we saw in Scream 3. And it's specifically when Jennifer and Gail are running after Angelina. And she's like, I did not fuck that pig Milton just to die here with second-rate celebrities like you two. And then she runs off all goofy and shit and then gets murked downstairs. Yeah, that part. Anyways, the POV comes into a classroom, and the person walks up to this desk, which has a picture of Mr. Josh Hartnett on it, and there's a nameplate that says Keri Tate. New phone, who the fuck is this?
I literally put in my notes, who's Keri Tate? Little did I know.
Little did you know. The POV zooms into a clock striking midnight, and all this like scary flashy shit happens. There's a flashback to the closet scene from 78, and then there's a knife in Josh Hartnett's picture, and then Laurie Strode is written on the chalkboard in all caps.
Freaky as fuck.
And then boom, we get Laurie in bed. She's screaming all sweaty and shit. That was just a nightmare. And guess what? Her name ain't Laurie. She motherfucking Keri Tate up in this bitch. Which she could have chose a better name. I'm just saying.
Right, but I love the whole undercover thing.
Oh yeah, and we'll learn why she decided to change her name soon. But her son John comes to her aid and gets her some little medication. And I just gotta say, I remember having the biggest crush on this man's, like, and he just, there is something about that man's eyes. They are just some, kind eyes. I just want to meet that man.
He reminds me a little bit of Rob Lowe when he was like young.
Okay, I can kind of see that, except Rob Lowe had really blue eyes. Like, that's the only difference.
Yeah, but just like the hair, the
saying.
stature, like he just kind of gave off those vibes. Rob Lowe had freaky blue eyes, like,
dude,
crazy.
When Rob Lowe, we gonna go on a little tangent real quick. When motherfucking Rob
I know
Lowe
what you're finna say.
was in The Outsiders as Soda Pop, oh my gosh, there's that one scene, you can kind of see his penis a little bit.
God.
It's whenever he's getting out the shower, you can see whole bare ass, and then he like puts his towel over his little dang-a-lang, right? And it kind of like swings a little bit, and I'm like, oh! Little 13-year-old Mal was over there like, damn!
I just remember we watched that in school and everybody talked about it all day, bro.
Yes! I remember watching it in Miss Finley's class, and I was just waiting on that scene. I'm like, yes, because my sister, she was 2 years older than me, so she had already read the book. Her and I had watched the movie together. Like, I had established that this was one of my favorite movies ever. Still is, by the way.
Love that fucking movie.
I had just seen it so many times, and I just remember, I'm like, let me just slow that bitch down real quick. See that little thing swinging.
My God.
And so we're in Summer Glen, California, at this private boarding school called Hillcrest Academy, and it's October 31st, Halloween. Dun 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 dun. John and Laurie chat over coffee, and it's revealed that John's dad sent him a birthday card 2 months late. What a shitty dad. And that he's an abusive drug addict who left Laurie. Yikes. It was that one point whenever she's like,
well, Dad is an abusive, chain-smoking methadone addict.
Who would attract someone like that?
and then John's like, and just think, he left you.
I was like, damn, why he going at her like that?
He going hard on his mama. But also,
he don't get no fucks.
at the same time, having to put up with her shit and all of her PTSD and stuff, like, I get it. I totally get it. Like, that's your mom,
but
you
you're
know.
fucking 17.
But
Let
you're
him
17.
live,
Let him
bro.
live. Which I talk about that later on. But damn.
Yes.
So, they're arguing because John wants to go on a field trip to the Yosemite National Park to go camping with his buds. And Laurie's fearful for him to go because it's Halloween. I get it, but girlfriend, at the end of the day, that's your own motherfucking trauma.
And it's been 20 years. Like,
exactly.
Did he come back? Yes, he did. So she was paranoid for a good reason. But still, I would have been like, yeah, he's dead.
But also, that happened the same night.
Right. And if you watched him fucking burn.
Exactly.
Crazy.
There's no reason why you shouldn't think that he, like, was dead, you know?
Right.
It makes no sense. And so then we get a shot of Laurie. She's looking out this window, And there's this vision of Mikey. He walks up behind her and stands there. But then she closes her eyes and he's gone. And so Laurie obviously has some serious pent up PTSD that she needs to deal with. Homegirl needs to go to therapy.
Yeah, why the fuck is she not in therapy?
I wonder. I really
maybe
wonder.
It's because she went into hiding, but still, girlfriend, get some therapy.
Go talk to a therapist. It's not like they can like tell everyone, oh hey, my little client over here, my patient's Laurie Strode.
Legally cannot.
They literally
fucking
can't.
tell.
Like, and so John, he's walking to class with his little friends. There's two friends. They're a couple. That's Sarah and Charlie, and they meet up with John's little girlfriend Molly. And she just found out that she can't go on the camping trip because her dad flaked on her financial aid, which is trash. She has shitty parents. And that's actually kind of great for John because, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Sarah says that she's definitely not going. And Charlie mentions that they could have their own Halloween party, a.k.a. a roaming orgy. That is like the most teenager thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
Literally, I was like, what the fuck?
Like, seriously, these kids are definitely 17 years old. And so we switch over to Highway 139 in Northern California. And a woman and her daughter are going up to a rest stop. And their vehicle is literally like a late
funny.
1800s style fucking automobile up in that bitch.
A station wagon.
That ain't even no station wagon. Like I said, that was the first car ever invented, y'all. Y'all go look at this car. It's the first car ever.
Why the fuck they put this car in the movie?
I Googled it. I was like, what's the first car look like? It looked just like that piece of shit.
And I thought Michael's was bad.
Her car is ugly. It's ugly.
Michael be whipping that hoe like he got a license or some shit.
Like, why are they driving that ugly ass car?
Right, like, girl.
The little girl, Casey, she has to go pee. Go piss, girl.
Go piss, girl.
And we see Mikey's vehicle. It has blown out a tire, whatever. And the mom and daughter see that the ladies' bathroom is locked. So they're like, we'll just use the men's bathroom. And the little girl goes in the first stall. The mom goes into the second. And the outside door ends up shutting. And it was being held open by a rock, which isn't too suspicious. You know, those things. It may not have been that heavy. Maybe it just kind of slid and the door closed. Whatever. And the mom, she sets her purse on the ground. Nasty. First of all,
hang it
nasty.
on the fucking stall.
But also, okay, it is a men's bathroom. I've never been in a men's bathroom. I don't think they
probably
have hooks.
don't. Yeah, that makes sense.
But honestly though, men be wearing what are they called? Satchels.
Or
Men be
even
wearing
a fucking
satchels.
Jacket.
Exactly, jacket. That could totally be a jacket.
If you're changing in the bathroom, like, there always needs to be hooks.
Yes.
Or a fucking flat. Okay, we have to talk about this.
I know exactly what you're talking about. We had those whenever I worked at Dillard's. Just like a little flat area to just like set your purse down.
Well, either that or a flat top of the toilet paper holder so that you can set your phone, because I hate when they're fucking angled and you have to like hold your phone up there. Or like even the flat toilet tank, something that's not slanted,
or it could
bro.
be like how it is at work. We have like one of those like handicap horizontal bars. And I always set my phone at, like, the very, very edge to where, like, it's not going to fall into it, but it's also not going to fall out of it. But anyways. So she sets her purse on that nasty-ass ground, and you know that ground was nasty. They were out in literally the middle of bumfuck. And it's quickly snatched up by someone. They say, gimme. And the mom, she's, like, looking through the crack in the stall to see Mikey. He's out there just rifling through her purse. And
Scary as fuck.
She's like internally freaking the hell out. Her daughter's literally in the stall next door. She's over there fucking humming. And all of a sudden, the little girl just screams. The mom runs over, and luckily, there was just a spider in her hair. Not a big deal. Michael did not murder her, thank goodness.
Okay, not a big deal. Bitch, as a girl with arachnophobia, I would have ripped my fucking scalp out of my hair.
Would you rather have had a spider in your hair or Michael coming to kill you?
Michael.
You are a fucking lie. You are a lie. But okay, so unlucky them. Mikey, you know how he stole that purse? He stole that woman's keys too. And we get a shot of him like driving away outside in their fucking automobile. And he just threw all of her shit out the purse, just trying to find these fucking keys. I'm like,
And then he whips that
Sir.
bitch all the way down to Hillcrest.
but also, sir, why you gotta pour all that woman's shit out of her purse? Literally just open it up and grab the fucking keys. But he bounced.
He a bitch.
He is a bitch. But he just straight up bounced. He was like, bye. Back at school, Laurie is leading an assembly and telling everyone to behave on the school field trip, which means no musical sleeping bags, no booze,
What the fuck
no
is
drugs,
musical
no
sleeping
kidding.
bags?
I have no idea. I didn't want to Google it. I feel like it...
I thought it had something to do with sex.
Me too. Me
like,
too.
sharing a sleeping bag and being
Yeah.
like fucking moaning or some
Exactly.
shit.
That's kind of what I thought, but I don't know.
I don't know if you knew, because that's what I was just
Yeah,
guessing.
I have no idea. I have never known what a musical sleeping bag is. But that's great because Laurie still doesn't like fun. She is a fun sucker. The group of kids have all decided that they're not going, so they can have their little party, aka the roaming orgy. And Charlie is literally the most horny person ever, and even Molly says that he needs some hormone suppressants.
Literally.
I agree. Hard agree. Laurie dismisses and she meets up with Will Brennan, the guidance counselor, and they're chatting about not going camping, and then they run into Laurie's secretary, Norma, who's played by Janet Leigh,
I love her.
which, if you didn't know, Janet Leigh is actually Jamie Lee Curtis's mama. And she
Really?
was in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
I didn't know that was
Yes.
her mom.
That was her mama.
Because I thought she was so cute.
She was adorable.
I just loved her. I thought she was the cutest thing.
And so Will says that he needs to talk to Laurie alone. And they go into her little office and they immediately start making out like fucking
They
teenagers.
snogging.
And it's really gross, honestly. I don't like it. They need to chill.
Me either. Like, you're literally, you're
First
not,
of all, you
no.
grown. Second of all, you're at your place of employment, which that's what gets him to stop. Laurie literally says, this is the place of employment. And they decide that they're just going to meet each other for lunch later at 1 o'clock at the gate. My motherfucking boy Ronnie, he's on the phone with his
I love
wife.
this part.
He wants to be a romance writer. Good for you, Ronnie. He's reading his new passage that he wrote, and it goes something like this.
He turned just in time to see her enter the room. With her long, slender legs, they climbed high up her skirt, leading to two tumultuous, round, melon breasts.
And his wife is like, round melons? Why you gotta label them like food? What kind of melons are you talking about? Cantaloupe, watermelon, what? Which I understand. She's asking some great questions.
Really?
Like, are they little apples? I know he said melons, but like, are they little apples? Are they like she said,
Like,
cantaloupe,
are we talking grapefruit or watermelon?
honeydews? Like, are we just talking about little tiny fucking mosquito bites? Explain. They talk a little bit, and she tells him that the writing career is unrealistic. Ouch. Get someone that can support your dreams, my guy. And he says that he wants to be creative and that he's paying the bills, isn't he? Right.
But
But
people
then-
will pay some good money for some smut, bro.
Oh, yeah. People love smut. But also, this was the 90s. I don't know if smut was, like, as popular. So he's startled by John, who... He's like, hey, yo, Ronnie, let me out real quick so I can go to town. He wants to get a present for Molly, and he eventually convinces Ronnie to let him out. And Ronnie's like, even though your mama said that if I let you out again, I'm going to get fired. And the girl on the phone is like, Ronnie, you better not get your ass fired.
I love her.
And then as John leaves, Ronnie tells him to comb his hair, which is actually kind of funny considering that Josh Hartnett, he did not want to be known for his amazing good looks, but only for his acting ability. So for this movie and also The Faculty, which was like filmed basically hand in hand, he would wear his hair in a beanie between takes so that it would look imperfect and women wouldn't find him attractive, which I think it did the exact opposite, because I remember watching this movie when I was younger. Every young boy had that haircut.
I'm a sucker for messy hair.
Me too. And like I said, that man's was fine as hell when I was growing up.
That's why when my boyfriend get out friggin' football practice, take that helmet off. He's like, my hair looks so bad. I'm like, I love it. I love
that
messy hair. Give me messy hair all day.
And so in town, Laurie parks the car to go to lunch with Will, and she gets freaked out by some trick-or-treaters. Then she looks into a window, and she sees Mikey walking up behind her. So she quickly turns around, but it's actually Will there.
Okay, that would be fucking terrifying. Like, whenever
terrifying.
when I thought it was Michael, but it was really that other guy walking towards her, I'm like, bro, when it actually is the real Michael, like, and she's just gonna think she's hallucinating.
Literally.
Terrifying. I'm so terrified of that.
And so they go into the restaurant. Laurie orders herself a glass of wine, and Will has coffee, which, girlfriend, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You need to chill.
When John says she's a functioning alcoholic, that was so funny.
Laurie says that she thinks she's losing John because she thinks he is tired of her bullshit. She asks Will if he's also tired of her bullshit, and he says that he's actually attracted to it because he's a guidance counselor. They chat about how broken Laurie is.
That's so fucking funny.
What? That he's attracted to it because he's a counselor? I'd be like, bitch!
That just cracked me up when I heard it because I was like, what the fuck?
They chat about how broken Laurie is and how Will thinks everyone can be fixed. And then he gets up to go to the bathroom. And as soon as this man is out of earshot, Laurie's like, "Ayo, server boy, come over here. I need another glass of Chardonnay." Even though she literally has not even finished the glass that she already has.
The guy literally
The server
looks
just
at
like
her.
looks at the glass and she's like, "Today, please."
It's so funny.
And so as soon as the server walks off, she literally chugs the hell out of that Chardonnay. Some kids scare the hell out of her again. They like bump up against the window. And she finished chugging right as the server comes up with another glass. And this kind of just shows how Laurie is really trying to cope by drinking. And it's like, girlfriend, you gotta chill. And so down the street, Charlie has stolen a bottle of wine while John waited outside. And they're discussing the statistics about teens shoplifting. And then Charlie says that they wouldn't have to go through this trouble if he would have just stolen some from his mom. But John says that his mom is a functioning alcoholic and accounts for every drop. But then is cut off by Laurie being like, "Excuse me, what are you doing there?" And John says that they're just having a little off-campus lunchy lunch. And she's like, "You know, y'all ain't supposed to have no off-campus lunch." She sends Charlie to the car and then proceeds to be like,
What the fuck do you think you're doing?
and John is like,
Like, girl, calm down.
literally, and John is like, "I am so uncomfy with you even saying that word." And she's like, "Out of all the days to pull this shit, today? Really?" And I get it. This is where I talk about the trauma part. Don't push your trauma onto other people, especially your kid. Like,
Literally.
this right here is one thing that just annoys the fuck about, like, to me, about parents. Like, it's so annoying whenever parents or even people in relationships, friendships, whatever, whenever they try to push their trauma onto other people and be like, "Oh, hey, so 20 years ago, someone tried to murder me, so we all need to be paranoid." And it's like,
Constantly.
no,
I
like,
know.
I didn't go through that experience, so I'm not going to understand, like, why you act like this. I'm not going to understand, you know, that fear or anything, so don't try to push that onto other people. And I get that she's trying to stay safe and everything. She's only concerned about his safety, and I know that she's coming from a place of love and care, but at the same time, girlfriend, he ain't interested in that shit.
And it'd be different if she only pulled that shit on Halloween. But from the way it sounds, she does it every single fucking day.
Every single
Like,
day.
okay, I would understand maybe being paranoid, at least for a few years, about Halloween, but 20 years
20
later.
years. Mm-hmm.
But even on regular days, like, Lori, calm down. You
Exactly,
know he's
chill.
a Halloween motherfucker.
Exactly. She says that she doesn't ask for much, just give her this one day. But John retorts and says that he has given her 17 years and
Literally.
that he is not responsible for her, which is the most truest thing I've ever heard.
Go, John.
You, like, homeboy, I feel you. You are not responsible for her. That is your mama. She is responsible for you. Especially you are underage. You are still a child. Like, children should not have to take care of their parents. You know, and if you have
Especially at 17.
Right, and you have all of this trauma and stuff already, why did you even have a kid in the first place? If you can barely even function. Like, shit, because, okay, if you think about it, math-wise, right? He came 20 years ago. That means that she would have been 20 years old when she had John. Like, that's 3 years after what happened. Homegirl, you are still not healed. Why would you even... Why?
Right, like,
why?
Wait till you're in a good place to have a child, because you know that you're still carrying all that shit.
Exactly, you're carrying
and
all
then
that
you gotta
weight
go
on
change
you.
your fucking name, and he's gotta carry all that shit too.
Exactly, that's a lot for a kid to handle. Even though he is 17, he's almost an adult, but still, like...
Maybe think about this. Don't scare the child, and just don't tell him
Just
about
don't
your
talk about
horrid,
it.
traumatic past.
Exactly, just don't talk about it, which... This honestly kind of goes hand in hand. So you haven't seen the Blumhouse Halloween yet, but she has a daughter in that one. Her name is Karen, and...
Does John not exist in
No,
those?
John doesn't exist in
Okay.
those. So she has her daughter named Karen, and Karen says at one point that she was taken away by the state because Laurie literally, like, trained her from a young age, like, combat, you know what I'm saying? Like, she had her ready for anything, which in the end, of course, it does help, but it's like, you can't raise a kid like that.
No.
You know, you can't. That's another thing, putting your trauma onto other people.
And in the Blumhouse trilogy, that is, like, so much later. Like, H2O, it's, like, 20 years later.
It's 40 years.
But 40 years later.
Yes, and she's a paranoid
Girl.
fuck in that one, too. Like, ooh.
That's the only thing that I like about, you know, because I was talking to Mal earlier about how much I love whenever, like, Sydney in Scream, for example, at the beginning, she's very scared, she's very timid.
Yes.
And then as the movies go on, she gets to be this badass, like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's so much better, and I love that about Laurie, but the thing with Sydney is she doesn't always push her trauma on other people. Like,
Exactly.
with the boyfriend, I get it, especially when the killings are happening, and it's
Right.
only a year after.
Exactly, and on top of that, like, it wasn't necessarily that she was, like, putting her trauma onto him. She wasn't...
She
like,
just
of
wasn't
course,
trusting him because
and
of
of
Billy.
course, he knew about her issues and everything, and I could assume, I can interpret that before the murders and stuff were happening, that they had a pretty okay relationship.
And it's not her husband, it's not her
Right.
child. Like, she can push trauma on him because he's her fucking boyfriend, and she's had very bad boyfriend issues.
Exactly.
And also, whenever she did go into hiding and was paranoid, she was by herself. She didn't
Right.
push that shit on anybody.
Right.
And that's why I'm a Sydney stan.
Yes, we love Sydney in this household. Okay, so he says he can't take it anymore. Michael Myers is dead. And he says that they need to move on and try to have a somewhat happy existence, and that whatever is in her head is leaking into his, and that he can't take it.
Facts.
Understandable. 100%. He says that it's been 20 years, and doesn't she think that he would have shown up by now? Fucking right.
Literally, it's been 20 years.
Like,
Why are
calm
you still
down.
on edge every single
Even
fucking
though, okay,
day?
we're sitting here saying, why are you on edge? But he does show up 20 years later. But
Okay,
still,
true.
But still, that whole 20 years, you could have been just fine.
Like I said, I get being paranoid on Halloween. Even
Yes,
20 years
absolutely.
later, I can
Absolutely.
understand that. Faux show, bro.
He's the Halloween man. Like,
Literally. But all the other days for 20 years, like, I would
Exactly.
understand being paranoid every day for, like, maybe even a couple years.
Right.
But then
that's
20 years
fine.
later, I would only understand maybe being paranoid on Halloween.
Exactly. And so they all load up in the car, and Mr. Sandman's playing on the radio, which somehow triggers Laurie for some reason.
I didn't
Why the
understand
fuck?
that.
Why the fuck does that trigger her? Because in the second one, it literally plays at the beginning, and it plays at the end. Why the fuck is she like, oh, like, what?
Fucking Sydney going,
Literally pulling a fucking Sydney, just like, oh, Mr. Sandman's playing. Like, what? Girl, calm down.
like, it's been
Jesus.
20 years.
But also, that song had nothing to do with her.
It literally was just in the fucking
It was in the
score.
movie. It was in the movie, in the score. Not in real life.
Laurie,
My
get
bad.
it together, babe.
Like,
Did I?
And so they leave, and we see the fucking 1800s automobile stalking her.
I love that fucking car so
The
much.
The automobile. And so they ride back to campus, and of course, Mikey and his automobile have followed them. Molly is at her school job, I guess is what it is, and she's up there washing her little dishes, and someone sends something
She looks
down.
so cute in that little apron.
She looks so fucking cute. I'm like,
so cute.
Michelle Williams, you are adorable. Like,
I love her.
I love her. And so someone sends something down the dumbwaiter for her, and it's a beautiful bouquet of fucking roses.
Can I just say, I don't fuck with no dumbwaiters, especially
No,
after those scenes.
no.
Anytime there's a dumbwaiter in a horror movie,
No.
fuck no.
Fuck a dumbwaiter. Nope. And so it's a little map as well. She follows the little map, and John surprises her from behind. They enter this little room, and it's set up for a cute Halloween dinner. He gets extra brownie points. That's so fucking cute. Oh, and in that moment, he also explains that he has never celebrated Halloween, and he tells Molly that he has a serial killer in the family. And I'm just like, boy, you're just telling your mama's little information.
Right, like, go ahead, tell everybody.
Exactly.
But she's so cute in that
She's
little
so
apron. I
fucking
would have
cute.
folded too, bro.
Girl, me too.
Her little blonde curls when she take them down out of that hair
I
clip.
was always so envious of her curls because they're
Literally.
so big. They're like big, beautiful curls. And so in class,
When she fucking take it down out of that claw clip, I'm like, if I had my hair up and I took
Oh
it
my
down,
God.
shit would be on the walls.
literally, it would be like,
It's just so cute.
so cute. And so in class, Laurie is teaching, I think, English, I'm going to assume, and they're discussing Frankenstein. John is goofing off with Molly in the back row, and she ends up, like, looking towards the window to, like, daydream. And, of course, who the fuck is standing outside the gate? It's Mikey motherfucking Myers.
Mikey, what are you doing?
What you doing out there looking all goofy?
Mikey, what you peering through the window for?
And then Laurie calls for Molly's attention to answer the question, and she says something about fate and yada yada yada, and it's very reminiscent of 78 when Laurie was kind of in the same situation. She was out there looking out the window, and then she has to answer the question about fate and all of that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, so while she's looking out the window, we see the awful, awful K&B mask that they used for only a few scenes.
So bad.
So this mask, it was approved originally, right? They filmed like the vast majority of the movie with it. And then I think they showed it to test audiences and they were like, what the fuck is this?
I want to know who approved it.
So they used 3 different physical masks for the movie, which were the K&B masks, I think it's Buechler mask, and then the Stan Winston mask. The Buechler mask was used purely in the opening scene, and it looked a lot like the mask that was in Halloween 6. The Stan Winston mask was used for the majority of the movie, and it replaced the very shitty K&B mask. And it was super close to the OG mask, but it was a little tight for the actor that was playing Mikey. So, like, we see a lot of his eyes the majority of the movie, which I don't really care about. It's whatever.
That kind of added some character to me, like
Exactly. Added a little bit of personality.
especially with the end and how
Yes.
Resurrection made it. Like
yes.
you
We
could
needed
tell
that
that
mask.
it was yeah.
And so then we have the fucking K&B mask. With its odd-shaped forehead, wide-ass eye holes, and weird fucking hairline. And also, the hair was way too dark. It looked like a Martian, and I fucking hate it. And literally, okay, so if you want to see this mask, easily just go to IMDb.
It's not as bad as that fucking CGI mask.
The CGI mask looked better.
Really?
Yes,
Was that picture that you showed me the CGI
No.
mask or the K&B
that was
mask?
the K&B mask.
I thought that was the CGI
No.
mask, bro.
I'll tell you when a CGI mask comes
What
up.
the fuck?
So, if you go to IMDb, just look up Halloween H20, go to the trailer that's up at the very, very top, and that is the K&B mask.
That
And
fucking mask looks melted. It literally
it
looks
was
melted.
so fucking ugly. It was so ugly. It was uglier than the 1800s automobile. Like,
Oh god. I will say I
Jesus.
liked it better than that fucking Resurrection
oh
mask.
my god. But there was also just one other mask used, but we'll get to that when we get to it. After class, Laurie calls John over and hands him something. It's his little permission slip for the field trip. Damn, Daniel. And you can tell that he's a little happy because she's like kind of letting go, but he already has plans. And guess what? He ain't going on no little field trip. He's going to stay for the roaming orgy.
Like, Lori, it's too late.
We get shots of all the buses loading in, and Laurie, I guess, was gonna, like, yank John out or something, because, like, as they're about to leave, she, like, quickly gets up from her desk and shit and tries,
She's
like, running
freaking out. Like, girl, calm down.
But she doesn't make it in time. They drive off, and as she's about to, like, walk off, she's startled by Norma, and Norma says,
It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
which pays homage to Halloween 1 yet again. And she goes to leave, and Norma stands by her car, which is the same car that Marion Crane used in Psycho. And the Psycho theme song plays softly in the background, which, if you didn't know, Janet Leigh was in the original Psycho movie from, I think, like 1960, maybe 1, maybe 2, I don't know.
Janet Leigh is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't realize, I thought Lee was her middle name. I didn't realize it was surname.
So it's actually spelled differently. So Jamie Lee Curtis is Lee, and then Janet Leigh is Leigh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's her mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so we get a shot of all the buses leaving the gate, and they're making their way down the fucking mountain, I guess. And it's literally dark outside already, and I'm like, okay, so...
Where did the time go?
First of all, where did the time go? Second of all, y'all are supposed to be going on a camping trip. How the fuck are y'all gonna set up camp in the dark?
Where did the time go?
I'm confusion. Where'd time go? What the dog doing? And so back with Ronnie, he has yet another passage. It says...
Passage?
She took off her clothes, revealing her satiny, soft femininity. And Lawrence looked at her with lust in his eyes and said, I want to invade every part of your being. I want to tantalize myself with your sweet nectar.
And Ronnie's wife cuts him off and says, she better not fall for that shit. And he continues.
And Tanya laughed at him. You don't expect me to fall for that shit, she said.
And someone pulls into the gate, and Ronnie says that he'll be right back. Or at first he was like, let me call you back. And she's like, I want to hear what Tanya gets into. Which I feel her on that.
She's like, what's Tanya on this bullshit?
Literally. And so he like sets the phone down. He goes out to see who's at the gate. And of course, it's fucking Mikey's automobile out there. And it's just sitting at the gate, running with the lights on. And Ronnie makes the dumbass mistake to open the gate and check inside the car. And as he like opens up the car to, I guess, like examine what's going on inside, Mikey just walks behind him right into the gate. Doesn't try murdering him or anything, but just walks right into the gate. And so Ronnie turns the car off, walks back, closes the gate. Fucking weird.
Like, you just let Mikey in,
literally.
bro.
He picks the phone back up to talk to his wife, and we see Mikey standing outside the booth watching him. Ronnie gets kind of like freaked out and locks one of the exit doors, and he goes back in and gets on the phone for like a moment, right?
At this point in my notes, I was like, don't you fucking dare kill Ronnie.
Literally. So he gets back on the phone for a moment, and Mikey is again standing outside the booth. And he makes like a noise and like quickly scoots out the way. And I guess that was to lure Ronnie out. And then the phone goes dead. And then of course Ronnie goes and fucking starts looking around.
Like,
I'm not about to play with you, LL Cool J.
Get in the drawer and barricade yourself in that stupid security room.
I'm gonna say it like this. LL Cool J, you are a black man. You are supposed to be smart in these movies. Come on now.
There's a reason the black men survive.
Literally.
Like,
Joel, I was about to say,
Joel!
Take some notes from Joel, my boy. And here's the thing. We'll talk about this literally in a moment. Scream 2 exists in this universe. He needs to go watch Scream 2 and take some notes from Joel.
I was wondering
We'll talk about that. I have questions. I have fucking questions. So, Laurie, she leaves her office.
Joel said, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Laurie leaves her office, and as she's walking home, she sees Mikey walking in the distance. Is it really him is really the question, and she closes her eyes, opens, he's still there walking. Closes them again, he's still there. She closes her eyes yet again, and Will scares the shit out of her. They chat for a minute, and they plan to meet up in about 20 minutes. He has to go check on the remaining kids out there. And in Sarah and Molly's room, they are watching Scream 2, which makes zero fucking sense. Okay, so Scream 1, they're watching Halloween, okay? So, like, is the Halloween universe aware of the Scream universe and vice versa? Because if so, wouldn't the characters in the Halloween universe have seen the first Scream and saw parts of Halloween that were shown at the party at Stu's house? And would that mean if the characters in the Scream universe watched this movie, they would have seen part of Cece's death that is shown in the movie? I need a fucking explanation. It doesn't make any sense.
Literally headcanon.
I am confusion. And, like, okay, I get it. Kevin Williamson did help write this. Okay. So I guess they were like, okay, let's just, like, throw in a little homage to Kevin Williamson. Throw in the newest Scream movie at the time.
But y'all
which
already y'all already did
like,
that.
Why didn't they just put on fucking Dawson's Creek or something? Like, there are so many other things that Kevin Williamson has done. You don't have to put Scream in there. But okay. And so Will, he comes in to check on the girls, and we get this super weird exchange. And they basically, he's like, you know, what are you girls going to be getting into? And Sarah says,
Well, we thought we'd hit the town, pick up some guys, you know, drop some roofies in their drinks, have a whole date rape evening.
which is really fucking weird in my opinion. Why would you say that to your guidance counselor? And then the Will says, they're like, do you want to join us? Will says,
I can't. I'm having my nipples pierced.
that is a weird ass exchange.
Right, like this is your guidance counselor.
Exactly. And why did you
Weird.
tell these kids that you're getting your nipples pierced? If you are getting your nipples pierced, keep that shit to yourself. Like, that's inappropriate.
Right, like even if he's joking back, quit. It's
Sir,
like the
stop while
creepy
you're
old
ahead.
men in fucking high school that are into the popular girls.
Yes.
Like, calm
fucking
down.
Creeps. And so the group, they all sneak into the building where the party is being held. And meanwhile, Laurie pours her a big-ass glass of straight vodka to relax. And she chugs it down. Then immediately uses mouthwash to hide the smell from Will, I guess. Who, he just arrived. He knocked on the door, whatever.
Like, girl, how did you not throw up?
Oh, that was like bigger than a shot. That was at least 8 shots.
Literally.
2 shots of vodka. Like, no. And so at the party, Charlie and Sarah have gathered up all this food for the group. And in the party room, there's like a million fucking candles, which
I have to
Can I
talk
say-
about when they're getting the food, because when she's like, I
Oh.
fucking love food. I was like,
fucking love food.
feel you on
she's
that
like,
shit.
you don't care if I get all thick and dumpy, right?
Oh, I love food. I really do. I hope you don't mind if I get really big and dumpy. It's my goal in life.
He's like, actually, I find a plus-size woman attractive. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so, like, I don't know. It was some
It was
old
so
word, like
funny.
Victorian or something.
Oh no, I always found obesity to be very sexy.
God, you're so renaissance.
Because,
Yes.
like, back in the Victorian era, if you were fat, you were, like, considered a 10 out of 10. I
I-
need to go back to the Victorian era. Shit, I'd be getting all up in there. They'd be like, damn, girl.
Right, also they were into pale women because that meant they weren't having to be outside
Outside in the
working.
sun,
Like,
exactly.
shit, no self-tan, okay?
They be putting that fucking asbestos on their face.
Let me layer on that fucking Maybelline
Right.
Fit Me powder.
Was she born with it? Or maybe it's asbestos. And so Charlie realizes that they don't have a corkscrew for the wine that he stole. And so he goes to find one.
You were gonna talk about the candles.
Yes, okay, those fucking candles. There was like a million candles in that room. That's a fucking fire hazard. And the fact that they eventually just leave that room too. I'm like, that bitch is set on fire.
Me, I'm paranoid. I hate fire.
Me
I would have
too.
been blowing that shit out before I go anywhere.
Right as I'm like walking away, I'm like, okay, let's blow out these candles real quick.
Like, I get lighting a few candles for the mood, but that many in a basement
That was like a
by a
million
kitchen?
candles.
No.
And so at Laurie's, she and Will are making out again, like 2 fucking teenagers.
Right, like,
And she
please stop.
Literally chill.
And they're passing shit between their mouths. Like, just
It was
stop.
candy corn.
That's what that shit was.
That was fucking candy corn, and I hate candy corn. I'm sorry. I am so sorry to anyone that likes candy corn
I
out there.
fucking hate candy
you
corn.
You nasty.
Tastes like wax.
It literally tastes like wax and just fucking assholes. Like, it's so
It
nasty.
tastes like eating. Please tell me you know what
Earwax.
those wax bottles are that were around Christmas. I fucking love the juice
I have
from
never
them.
tried wax bottles, but I know exactly what you're
The
talking about.
juice is so good, but it tastes like chewing on the fucking
wax.
cap of those.
Yes.
Literally.
Nasty. And so Laurie reveals that she isn't who he thinks she is. She's not Keri Tate. Her name is Laurie Strode. She changed it when she went into hiding because her brother killed her sister when she was 17, when her sister was 17. And so Will tries to change the subject by saying, take off your clothes. And she's like, eh.
I need to talk about this for a second, because why the fuck are you choosing now to tell him when you've started making out with him, passing shit
Literally.
between your mouths,
Getting
and you're
all,
like,
getting all hot and heavy.
you're
up in
literally
there.
fucking on top of him, and you decide to tell him while he's kissing your neck, and you expect him to take you seriously and stop and just
Exactly.
listen? Like, what?
Girlfriend, you should have done that way before.
Girl.
Maybe earlier that day. I don't fucking know. And so...
I don't blame him for not believing her, because that's
Literally.
such a weird fucking time to bring that shit up.
Literally. She continues, saying he came after her, but she got rid of him. But not before he killed a bunch of her friends, which actually, it was only 2 of her friends plus a boyfriend that I don't even think she even liked. But okay, Laurie, milk that shit. And Will, he's heard the story before, who hasn't? And he says that it happened like 20 years ago, and the sister died, right? Nope. Laurie says that she faked her death, changed her name, and now she's a headmistress of a posh boarding school in Northern California. And she prays every year her brother won't find her. He finally believes her. She offers him a drink. They chat a little bit more, and he asks how old she was when it happened, and she says 17, while also looking at John's birthday card. She gets kind of like freaked out a little bit and worried about whether or not the buses made it to Yosemite, and she tries using her phone to call, which... who's she calling? The national park?
Right. And at this point, I understand her being paranoid after noticing, like, the 17 and it's been 20 years, and she hasn't been attacked since she's been 17. Like,
right, I get that.
And the sister was killed when she was 17. Like,
exactly. There's something going on.
I get that paranoia, but again, every day for 20 years.
Exactly.
Stop it.
Exactly. And so, the phone line is dead, so she goes to John's room to try using his phone. His line is also dead, and she realizes that John did not go because all of his shit is still in his closet. So she goes to her room, she pulls out a little gun, and she says she's going to go find her son. But as they're walking out, they run into Ronnie, and she tells him that like, go get the phones working, I'm going to go try to find my son, and we'll all meet up at the gate. Okay, cool. So back at the party building, I'm just going to refer to that as the party building. Sarah is searching for Charlie, and he jump scares her and tells her that he hasn't been able to find a corkscrew yet. So he uses the dumbwaiter to go upstairs to the other kitchen.
As soon as he got in that motherfucker, I was like, no.
I'm just like, use the fucking stairs. Like...
I ain't never,
hell no,
ever gonna get in a fucking dumbwaiter.
I've seen way too many movies with fucked up dumbwaiters. No, thank you.
I hate getting in elevators, and you think I'm gonna jump in a dumbwaiter? Fuck no.
And so when he gets upstairs, he's able to find one, but he accidentally drops it down the drain. He tries to get it, and Mikey's like slowly approaching behind him. And he like sticks his hand in, and we all think that the garbage disposal is gonna go off. But luckily it doesn't. Thank goodness. I don't need no gruesome hand shit.
No, I was not about to watch that shit.
That has always been my biggest fear. For anyone that has seen Final Destination 2, when dude fucking drops his ring into the garbage disposal and he gets his hand stuck because of that giant ass fucking watch, that shit right there, terrifying. Terrifying. I'm like, I'm not about to have to cut off my fucking hand, bro.
I'd say buy a corkscrew, or I'd get a fucking hanger and try to hook that shit and pull it out.
Exactly. And so Charlie gets the corkscrew, and right as he turns around, there's Mikey hovering over him, breathing hard as fuck after smoking a whole pack of 200s. And this is where we'll talk about the fourth mask. This one was not a mask at all. More like a guy standing there with a CGI mask added in post. What the hell?
The fact that it looked better than the K&B mask.
It looked so much better than K&B mask, but goddamn, bro. Now that I know, like, okay, growing up, I did not realize that that was a CGI mask. And I don't think if you don't point it out to someone, they're going to notice. I don't think that they'll notice.
Right, but just use the good mask.
Exactly, use the good mask. Through the whole thing. But also, like I said, I never realized that it was a CGI mask. I'm like...
I didn't notice till she told me.
Right, and now every single time I watch it, I'm like, oop, there's the CGI one. And so it switches back over to Sarah, who is now trying to find Charlie yet again. She's looking around. She opens the dumbwaiter and sees Charlie in there with his neck fucking slit. Mikey appears.
As soon as it said dumbwaiter rattling on subtitles, I was like, fuck this shit.
Mikey appears behind her, K&B mask and all, and she tries to flee via the dumbwaiter like a dum-dum. And
getting in there with your dead fucking boyfriend?
Fuck that.
No.
But, okay, so she makes it to the second floor, okay? As she's getting out, this is the part that fucking gets me. Her leg gets stuck under Charlie's leg, which, okay, first of all, how the fuck did that happen? Okay, how did your leg get stuck there? Mikey is like, okay, we're just gonna break this bitch. So he cuts the rope to the dumbwaiter, and the bitch falls on her fucking leg while it's still in there, and it literally almost severs her fucking leg from like halfway up your fucking shin. Like, oh, I'm disgusted. Back with John and Molly, they hear the crash from the dumbwaiter, and as they get up to investigate, John turns off the radio, which was playing motherfucking What Is Life For by Creed. You're welcome, okay?
Shout out Creed.
Shout out Creed with your fucking chin
And your fucking nose.
But that motherfucker gonna touch your heart if
With
you know
arms
you know.
wide open.
Poor Sarah, she's trying to crawl to safety, but unlucky her, she crawls right into Mikey, who then, as she's like trying to like scoot back and like crawl backwards, he steps on her fucking neck to hold her still and then stabs her 4 times. Disgusting. John and Molly make it downstairs to the downstairs kitchen, and they're looking around, and they see a blood trail from the dumbwaiter to the closet, okay?
Fuck no.
This doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Sarah was in the downstairs kitchen, right? She took the dumbwaiter upstairs, and she got out upstairs. Why the fuck is there why?
Literally.
Why? Why is there a blood trail in the downstairs kitchen? I'm confused.
That did not make sense to me while I was watching it, because I was like, literally when he cut the rope, Charlie fell down.
Exactly.
And she was up. She never went back down.
Exactly. And
Plot hole.
The plot hole. And so they follow the blood trail to a closet, right? They turn on the light, and Sarah's body is literally hanging from the light bulb, okay?
Fuck no.
She has been like fucking gutted. Her leg is almost coming off. It's absolutely disgusting. And they move away in fear. They're like, oh my God! And Mikey is staring at them from across the room. They start running, and they get to the window that they snuck in from, and they get out. They run through the campus, and at one point when they're like on this like trail surrounded by trees, Molly has to stop for a moment to figure out what the hell is going on and what they're gonna do. John says that they need to go back to the dorms and call the cops, but then fucking Mikey has caught up to them. He jumps out of nowhere to attack Molly. John, bravo John, he does the most manly and masculine thing. He's like, you ain't about to take my girlfriend, and punches Mikey.
Period!
Like 3 or 4 times in the face, to the point to where he drops Molly, right? And
he's just over there laying into this
and he's like,
motherfucker.
bop, bop, bop.
If I'm Molly.
Oh my God, I would be so. Oh.
If I was gonna say if I'm Molly, I just fucking.
Oh.
I just beeped.
Bro. Bro, no, seriously? If I ever get in a situation like that and my man runs off without me, I'm coming back and haunting his bitch ass. Like, I'm making sure that the murderer is gonna come get you, okay? And so, yeah, so he's punching the shit out of him, okay? Mikey ends up throwing John on the ground and stabs him in the fucking thigh, which hurts me so bad for some reason.
Like, no.
Ouch. But then Molly comes back and is able to knock Mikey to the ground, like momentarily with a rock to the face. She's like, fuck you! Bop! Bops him in the face.
Poor Molly.
And she and John run like crazy. Fuck a hurt leg. He's like, I got to go. They make it to like this little gated entrance. This part is so stressful. Molly is trying to unlock the locked gate,
this
right?
Part.
She's able, like, she's up there struggling. She has her keys. Mikey's like walking up behind them. She finally gets the gate open, but then she drops her fucking keys outside of the gate. She she has like her arm like inside the gate trying to grab the keys. She can't get it, so she backs up right as Mikey is like
I thought
right
he was
there.
gonna cut her arm off.
Girl, me too. And he like comes up, sticks his arm through the gate, and is trying to cut them. They're like having to be like backed up against the wall. They're trying to like bang on this fucking door. God, oh my gosh, the sound of the knife is just like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. like yelling for someone to open up the door, but Mikey's like, I'm gonna try these keys real quick. And so he's like trying every single key. Luckily, Laurie is there and she's able to get them both inside right as Mikey unlocks the gate. Laurie's able to pull them both inside and she shuts the door right in Mikey's face. There's this awesome shot as Laurie shuts the door. She looks through this little round window and is like staring right into Mikey's eyes. Chills. It's like this chilling fucking stare off. But then, of course, Laurie looks away to grab her gun and he fucking disappears. Of course. Classic Mikey.
That part was just so iconic.
Iconic.
When they're staring at each other through the fucking door, it's just like crazy. I love those type of things.
I remember being younger and just like seeing that, like say they were saying say that like AMC was like, yeah, we're gonna be showing Halloween H20, it would always be that part right there.
Because like in Scream, when it would be like Sydney just looking at Ghostface and she's like, finna get you, motherfucker. But like this, it's like her fucking brother.
Exactly.
But also after watching that fucking resurrection part, I see that
God.
scene now and I'm like, fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck resurrection.
And so Laurie and Will, they get John and Molly to a closet. Laurie tells them to barricade and lock the door. And we get a little homage line from Halloween 1 when she says, "Do as I say, now!" And they lock the door. And Will and her are now just like on the hunt for Mikey. Will is like, what do we do? And Laurie simply says,
Try to live.
nice advice.
Don't die.
That is literally the advice of the fucking century.
But I have to give it to Laurie though. Nobody
She
ever
being a
just
bad bitch.
barricades themselves in a fucking closet and just hides. They're always trying to run away, and that's
she
why the
being a
killer
bad
always
bitch.
find them.
I love her. She being a badass bitch.
Literally, like, thank you for putting your fucking son in the closet and telling him to shut the fuck up and barricade himself in there.
They're walking down this hall, and Laurie has her gun drawn, and Laurie tells Will to go find help, and he's like, I'm not leaving you. And he sees past her. Someone's like walking, right? Someone's like walking up to them, lurking. And he grabs her gun, shoots all the fucking bullets. We think it's Mikey, but actually, it's my boy Ronnie.
And he misses every fucking time except for one.
Except for once, and he's been done shot in the head.
Which he pissed me off the entire movie. One,
Dude,
why are you
Will was a
macking on
dumbass.
Laurie like a fucking teenager? Two, you gonna fucking shoot Ronnie. Three, you can't even make
dummy.
any of the fucking bullets.
You should have let Laurie do that. Like, shut the fuck up, boy.
Ugh.
And
He pissed me
as
off.
Will, he like is like, they're all like hovering over him to see who it is. Of course, it's Ronnie. And as Will is like getting up and he's like, I thought it was him, Mikey pops up from behind him and stibbity stabs his duck ass.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise, shawty! Literally stabs his duck ass in the back. Good. I never fucking liked Will. I'm
Never.
sorry. I'm not saying that someone deserves to die. But that motherfucker was dumb. He deserved to die.
Will ain't no Trevor, but
No.
he's right up there.
He's right up there. Laurie watches as her lover dies, and she's all sad, but then she runs off. She's like, I gotta get my shit together.
Like, Laurie, you fine.
You
still
fine,
got
Laurie.
your Chardonnay.
Exactly. Your Chardonnay and your gun. Well, no, she's out of bullets. You got your Chardonnay.
Right, Will used
That's
all
all
your
you
fucking
need.
bullets, but it's okay.
And so she goes to the closet where John and Molly were, but they're gone. Switch back over to Mikey. He is now at the same door, and he thinks someone is in there. So this motherfucker uses a knife to break the door down. He literally stabs at the fucking door.
Mikey, what happened? In the last movie, you walked through a fucking glass door.
You can walk through anything, Mikey. Get your shit together. But Laurie, she's smart. She made that to be a trap, and she knocks him in the back of the head with the fire extinguisher. So he goes down, right? She goes to another closet, and as Mikey literally rises up in the background, that motherfucker still has not missed a core day ever in his life. She grabs Molly and John, and they like run off again.
He smoked 200s and hit core, and that's
Yes,
all he
that's
fucking
all he
does in
does.
his spare time.
And eats dogs. Like, that's literally all he
Yes.
does.
When he disappears in his fucking spare time, he smokes, hits corn, eats dogs.
Yes.
And that's literally
it.
fucking it. If you
That's
want to be
it.
a serial killer, that's how you train.
That's the 3 things you
I'm
gotta
not
do.
promoting that.
Not promoting that. But you get, you get your protein from the dog, and
Right. Don't fucking cancel us. We're just telling you how it is.
Yes, we're telling you Mikey's little routine, right? You get your protein from the dog, okay?
Imagine he fucking has TikTok and people are like, what's your workout routine?
Okay, so listen here. I eat dogs, and I have to smoke my 200s, at least 4 packs a day.
Get ready with me to kill Laurie.
Right, and then you never miss a core day. I do 1 million sit-ups a day.
While I eat that dog.
While I eat the dog. We don't even cook the dog. We're on a raw diet.
Mikey
okay?
got that raw dog in him. Raw dog and shit.
Dog and the dog. Oh my god. And so, so Mikey's following in suit. Luckily, they're able to run to Laurie's car. They all pile in, get it started, and drive off right as Mikey's approaching the car. He, grabs at the handle and shit. Luckily, they're smart. They lock their doors, and they, skirt off to the main gate.
For once in a horror movie, can the car please just fucking start on the first thing?
Literally.
I don't care if you have to make the killer get there faster. I'm sick of it being a horror movie.
I'm sick
and there's
of
a
it.
fucking person turning the key and it's like...
The only movie that is acceptable with that is Jeepers Creepers, because that went along with the storyline. That's the only one. Which
right, but all the others... He did
we'll
not
watch.
disable your fucking car.
We're gonna watch Jeepers Creepers.
Bet.
So Laurie ends up opening the gate, and she proceeds to tell Molly to go down to the Beckers to call the police and get an ambulance. And John's all like, no, Mama, please come with me. And she's like, do as I say, now. And they drive off. And so she locks the gate again.
This part's so fucking badass.
Yes, this is the badass part of the movie. She locks the gate. She smashes the control panel to, I think, make sure that he can't escape, which he ain't even got the code, so how is he going to escape anyways?
He gonna walk through the middle.
Right. She grabs a fire axe and is ready to go hunting again.
She goes, Michael!
Yes, she's walking around. She has her fucking axe and she yells, Michael!
So badass.
And so the updated score is playing in the background. It's all right. And she's in this hallway, the very familiar hallway. And this motherfucker literally drops from the ceiling. Which I'm like, okay, so you also haven't missed arm day either. Okay, got it, sir.
Add push-ups to the get ready with me.
Literally, push-ups and fucking pull-ups. And she hears him drop down, thank goodness. And she gets him one time with an axe, but he gets her in the arm, same spot again. You know that shit went through some fucking, what is it called, scar tissue. You know that shit hurt. She ends up going and she hides in this room that's filled with all these tables. And this pisses me off because I'm like, girl, why are you hiding under these tables? You know he can see you. And
not even long tablecloths,
no,
bro.
they're not even long tablecloths all the way down to the ground. Like, come on now. And she thinks he can't see her, crawling underneath all the tables, and she settles under one. And
she be rolling under the tables and shit, and I'm like, Laurie.
This part right here, the fact that this motherfucker is standing on the table that she chooses. And he's just waiting on her to come out. He's like, bitch, you dumb, right?
He's like, Laurie, come on. We've been through this shit. You really gonna pick a table?
Literally.
In a wide open room.
Literally. And so she distracts him, luckily. But he's kind of smart. And as she's like trying to crawl through all these tables... she's trying to crawl through all these tables and shit. He's just flipping them. He says, fuck this, we gonna get rid of the tables. Like, I'm gonna find you regardless. She ends up getting up, grabs a flagpole, and stabs his ass. But he's like, that didn't fucking hurt.
This pissed me off because the second half, the sharp ass stick that broke off from the flag, she just weakly chunks it at him and runs off. I'm like, bitch, take that with you. You've already lost your fucking axe and your gun.
Exactly.
Take the sharp stick with you instead of feebly chunking at him.
Exactly.
Like, if you're gonna throw it, do a fucking spear throw.
Exactly.
Don't just feebly chunk it at him.
Exactly. He gets back up, she climbs some stairs, and is somehow back in the upstairs kitchen, and I'm confused, and she's throwing knives at him, which I'm like, girlfriend, you do not have a good aim, you are not a knife thrower, please stop, you're embarrassing yourself.
Why do I feel like I would have hit that motherfucker in the chest first
Dude,
try?
me too. She's literally pulling some Ghostface shit. Whenever Ghostface threw the fucking knife at Dewey and the butt of it hit him and knocked him out, like, literally, girl, Laurie, are you sure you're not Ghostface? And so she runs out of knives and she uses a drawer as a shield.
See, Sydney would have never done that shit. She would have hit that motherfucker right in the chest.
Which Mikey ends up stabbing the drawer and his knife gets stuck in it. And this shit is so funny because she literally like crawls away. He has the drawer like in his hands and he's trying to like shake the knife out. If you don't watch any of this movie, if you don't watch any of this movie, you have to see this one point where he is trying to shake this knife out that is stuck in some wood. And so Laurie, she ends up grabbing some knives for weapons and she heads out. And he's like walking down this hallway, right? The familiar hallway again. She ends up jumping out. She stabs him like 8 times. It's super quick. She's like, stab, 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 stab. He ends up falling off of a balcony onto this wooden table, which fucking ouch. My back was screaming watching that.
Literally. And
Laurie makes her way back down to the table room because, of course, she's like, I need to double tap that ass. And, like, you know, this motherfucker won't die. So, like, I don't blame her. She slowly approaches. He's actually, surprisingly, laid out on the same spot, eyes closed. She grabs the knife that is still sticking out of his chest so she can just be like, okay, let me stab you in the heart one good time to make sure. But right as she's about to do it, my motherfucking boy Ronnie shows up and is like, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. And leads her out the building. And we get a shot of Mikey, and like I said, the boys just laid the hell out. Transition to a little bit later. The police and ambulances are there. Excuse me. Ronnie is on the phone with his wife.
I love this fucking part.
He announces that he wants to write a romantic thriller, and he says how much he loves her, and he also explains how he's alive. The bullet just kind of grazed him a little bit. Thank God they did not kill this man.
Thank God that bitch has a bad shot.
Exactly. Fucking Will.
That's the only thing I like about Will is that he didn't fucking kill Ronnie.
And so Laurie, she sees Mikey's body being zipped up into a body bag and it's being loaded into the coroner van. She grabs the axe because I guess the police grabbed it for evidence because it was just sitting on a car. She's like, mine, yoink. And she gets a little froggy when she decides that she's going to grab a police officer's gun and tells them to load his ass up in the van and they're going to go on a little joyride, right? Which, by the way, this reminded me, we are definitely covering Joyride with some motherfucking Paul Walker in it.
Yes.
That's my boo. That's one of my favorite movies. Y'all just wait. We covering that shit. So Laurie, she ends up stealing the van and she zooms the hell out. I don't know what her plan was, where she was going, but she's zooming, okay? She's zooming down these windy ass roads. And the body starts moving around in the body bag trying to get out. And it's able to unzip the bag and it raises up. But as he goes to grab at Laurie, she slams on the brakes and he flies out the windshield because, of course, he ain't got no fucking seatbelt on. Flies out the windshield and she's like sitting there saying, come on, get up, get up. And he does. So she floors it, runs this bitch over. They end up going off a fucking cliff.
Period, Laurie.
Right? Laurie's thrown out from the van, and the masked man ends up getting stuck between a fallen tree and the van, right? The van, it, like, goes on fire, okay? Laurie gets up, finds the axe in the grass, and she approaches. Laurie don't care that van is on fire. She don't care that it's about to explode. She needs to be done with all of this, right?
She need her closure.
So she walks up. The man in the mask, he's like laying there or whatever in between the tree and a fucking van. And she's like, Michael. And the man wakes up. He stares at her looking all confused, right? And he starts like grabbing at his face. Okay, he's grabbing at the mask. And you're like, what the fuck? And then he like extends his arm out to be like, help me, please grab me, comfort me in my time of need. And I can see that she wants to grab his hand. She wants to feel like that brotherly love that she's never had.
Right,
and,
like she's trying to
comfort
kill her
him.
fucking brother.
And I know that she wants to kind of like comfort him in a way,
right.
you know?
That has to be so hard.
Before she can even touch him, she gets her fucking bearings and is like, yoink! She fucking cuts his head off with the axe. The man
them neck strings rolling around and all that shit.
The man's been decapitated. The OG theme song starts playing. And
badass.
we get the credits. And all I have to say is that is the most beautiful ending to a beautiful
should have
trilogy.
stopped right there.
They could have.
Should have.
They could have. But of course, you know, studios, they want to just keep making their fucking money, keep making their bag. I get it. But god damn it, they should have just started a new timeline.
I'm so fucking excited to watch this Blumhouse trilogy.
The Blumhouse, the first one, really good. Kills is mid. And ends is mid, but at the same time I like it. But I kind of told you that they had a new storyline that they could have ran with, but they decided not to run with the storyline.
I'm just excited for the new timeline, like starting from the first movie. I'm excited to watch another timeline. Like I think
kind
that's
of see
interesting.
like what this timeline Laurie
and
would
I'm
have been doing.
excited for the new mask and the new fucking Laurie. I'm excited to see how that is, even if it's horrible. Like,
this is my own opinion. I like this Laurie way more than the Blumhouse Laurie.
I probably will too, because this Laurie was so fucking good.
And like, don't get me wrong, Laurie. Okay, Halloween 8. I'm gonna call it Halloween 18. Halloween 2018. Halloween 18 had a great premise for Laurie. I just found her to be really fucking annoying. The second one, she's not utilized. And the third one, I'm just like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, I know that sounds awful. I love Laurie Strode. She's one of my favorite Final Girls. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. She's one of my favorite actresses. But I'm like, girlfriend, you guys to chill that shit. And I'm not terribly impressed.
Another thing that I love about Sydney Prescott is whenever her time was up, they knew it and they quit that shit.
So another thing with Scream 7, it's possible that Neve Campbell's coming back, but I'm like, I'm at my point to where I like that they have passed the torch. I know you haven't seen them, but I'm just going to say that they have passed the torch and stuff. I like the new characters. And
you've told me about that they passed the torch, and like, it's okay if she comes back, like, to be featured. She's the main fucking girl.
Absolutely. Like, fifth one.
But like, it hasn't been all about her.
I'll say this. The fifth one is not all about her, but she's definitely featured.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That adds a little bit.
They should have done that with Laurie.
Exactly. I'm like, that adds a little bit. But yes, it's time to kind of chill, which they did kind of attempt to do that with Halloween 18. They kind of did, but then they like backpedaled a little bit with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Pisses me off.
I'm like, why y'all gotta backpedal? Like, don't do that.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Girl, don't do it.
Don't do it. And so, yep, that was Halloween H20. Definitely, like I said, one of my fucking favorites, the best trilogy. If you're ever going to watch any Halloween movies and you want a good ending, watch Halloween 1978, watch Halloween 2 from 81, and then watch H20 from 98.
And do not even watch the intro to Resurrection. It might ruin H20 for you.
God. That was funny. I'm sorry. That was so funny.
Just ruined my life.
Jesus. So, from the beginning of this episode, I did mention, yes, we are going to be covering Halloween Resurrection. Hannah is not going to be on that one. I don't want to put her through that hell. But next week, we will be having Monica back. The only reason why I'm doing this is because Resurrection, I ain't even going to lie, that was our fucking childhood. H20 and Resurrection were like our shit. Those were the two that we had on VHS. Like, 10 out of fucking 10. And also, Busta Rhymes. I love me some Busta Rhymes. I said it already. I'll say it again. He makes that movie watchable. So yes, we're going to be covering that. It is actually going to be coming out on Halloween. So watch out for Tuesday.
And after that is going to be
yes.
November, which means...
subscription!
Everybody go subscribe. Literally, like we say every time.
Yes.
$4. $1 an episode. You can do it.
You can do it. It's actually going to be, so it's $3.99, so it's technically a little bit cheaper than $1. Technically.
Literally, like 99.5 cents.
Exactly, 99.5 cents. 99 and a quarter.
99.25 cents per
Exactly.
episode.
That's nothing. You can spare that for 4 extra episodes.
Substitute 1 coffee for it.
So you ain't even gotta do 1 coffee. That's way less than a coffee.
Literally, substitute half a coffee for it.
Literally, get you a small instead of a large and go subscribe, okay? Those, like I said, sometime around November, we will definitely announce beforehand, probably the week before, we'll be having them. So yeah, just keep a lookout on that. It'll be available on Spotify and Patreon. And of course, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Facebook. And I think that's is that all the social media we have? I think so. I think
all that I know of.
Yes. Oh, also, I have a Letterboxd. It's under BB No Tits. That link will be in the description. And if you ever want to like suggest something for us to watch, if you ever want to say something to us, we do have our email linked down below as well in the description. And also, we constantly have a Q&A going on all of our episodes. So, like, you know, if you have some feedback, if you want to say you love us, if you want to say you fucking hate us and that we need to stop making these episodes, you can say that. Just scroll down at the bottom of this episode.
Please leave us recommendations.
Yes.
We want to hear what you guys want to hear and make it.
Yes. And then, you know, sometimes if y'all suggest a bad one, I might talk a little shit about you. But that's okay. Wouldn't you love to be shit talked to by me?
Literally. Like, if
That's
fucking
amazing.
Horror Soup or Morbid shit talked us, I'd be like, they
Oh
talked
my God,
about us!
dude. If fucking Caleb, if you're listening, roast the shit out of me, please. Please. I would
Roast her for
love-
liking fucking
roast
Cotton
me,
Weary.
Yes, roast me for liking Cotton Weary. Roast me for liking fucking I know you don't like Hereditary. I do like Hereditary. Roast me for that.
Roast her
me
for her Letterboxd being BB No Tits.
Yes. Also, you can roast me for liking Jason Goes to Hell because guess what? That's one of the best Friday the 13th movies, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Please take a fat shit on us for liking Scream 3 as the best.
You know what? Scream 3 is getting its redemption arc because more people are actually
Praise
liking
God.
it. So, yeah. Anyways, yes, follow us on all social media platforms. Go subscribe whenever those are available. We will be announcing those. And I will see you next week. Hannah will see you the week after. And y'all have a good rest of your day, night, evening, what the fuck ever. Bye.